for the task force to review the MAEP formula, where he said, and was supported by Superintendent from Rankin County, Lynn Weathersby, that they need 114, maybe as much as 120% bump or enhancement over base student cost to provide students of low wealth with the degree of educational support they need in order to compete effectively. So this is not about just throwing issues at a complex problem, but rather describing what the fabric of this problem is, or the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that need to be brought together in order to address this question. A consolidation calls for restructuring, but if it calls for that restructuring based on Augenblick's 3 criteria, which are not supported by the data, benefit the commission members, as I understand it, or the public, educators and superintendents, to the table of data from which Augenblick drew his 18 districts. So we have no information about other districts to compare those 18 with, and we have no criteria whatsoever with which to assess the receiving districts as proposed. He gave no criteria whatsoever except geographical proximity, which is the same thing as saying we're going to do this if the sun comes up in the east, because you're not going to merge districts that are far apart. You're obviously going to consider proximity. So that's not an additional helpful, criterion at that point. If all of these districts are going to need support, because all of these districts do not have the sufficient funds with which to get the job done, and one of the premises of getting this job done is to improve the performance of students and school districts, then that would be most unfortunate if we overlook the core factors. So that's why we're raising these issues.
I grant you everything you said. I still don't hear an argument about why correlation or what you're suggesting in lieu of what we're doing. I've got my own problem with Augenblick did, and I don't accept the 18 districts, and I don't accept what Augenblick did. But I still don't know if you're concentrating, and I think rightfully so, on the lower end of performance. Those kids that have poverty and low performance. What if consolidation doesn't hurt them but improves the performance of kids who are high achieving? We offer more opportunity for AP courses, offer more opportunity for just other courses, that might more music opportunities, more art, because there is some savings at the district level, not at the state level, but you save some money. I'm not arguing that's the case. What would your argument be then? What if there's more opportunity for other kids? It doesn't impact the lower achieving kids negatively, but it does offer more opportunity for other children to perform and have other opportunities. What would you say to that? What is the argument against that?
Let me respond, okay?
Sure.
Several things. One is, our premise is that we're starting out with an interest in helping all of the children, not just some of the children. Secondly, when you look at these target districts, look at the percentages of low wealth students in those districts. It's very high. The majority of those students are going to be low wealth students. 65% of all the students in the state qualify as low wealth students for the purposes of the MAEP formula. Secondly, if what you want to do is increase the course offerings in the schools that don't have all the offerings that you would like them to have, that's a resource issue. You don't need to restructure 2 or 3 school districts, consolidate them and transform the culture of these communities in order to offer more courses, AP courses or otherwise, at some of the smaller schools. You just need more resources. You need more teachers, or you need a shift in program emphasis. Those are matters that can be handled at the school district level. Now, we're not saying there's no circumstance under which you could consider consolidation an appropriate move, but like everyone else here has suggested, that ought to be done on an individual school district level. There may be some where it makes sense, and there may be some where it makes sense for totally different reasons. But so far, what the Commission has heard is an attempt to create a singular, all-purpose model based on criteria that do not address the core needs of these school districts. So no one is against improving the educational opportunity for some of the kids, But by golly, it's time that we focused on solutions that approached helping all of the children. And that's what's missing from the equation here. And that, I mean, that's why we think this stuff is relevant.
Let me take issue with one thing you said. You're implying that low wealth correlates with low achievement across the board. I don't accept that at all.
I wasn't saying that.
What I said was offering opportunity to kids of whatever income level, whatever backgrounds, they have more opportunities. That's what I'm asking you. Not just, I understand that most of these districts are low wealth districts.
The research-based, data-driven evidence isn't there to support that premise. All that Augenblick has asserted, in his entire set of presentations to this commission is that there's evidence that larger school districts can have more course offerings. He did not address the question of whether the students coming from those smaller districts got the kinds of support that they needed to perform well in those merged school districts. The evidence is not supporting that. That's part of the problem. That he did not address. He alluded to it if you go back to his very first slideshow. He was very candid. He put all that stuff in there. And then he walked right past it when he came to establishing the criteria. Okay? So he's given you the clues to all of that, but then he has not followed through with that when it came to the way in which he characterized his proposals to you.
And Representative Brown, can I just respond to your question? For example, you can go to a block schedule to address